I'm thinking of 1 John 3, verse 18. It says, little children, let us not love in word or with tongue, but in deed and in truth. So love is an action. It's a choice. And then going back to actually John 3:16, when it says, for God so loved the world, many people think it's like, oh, he so loved us. He loves us this much. The Greek word so, it means in this way. So God loved the world in this way. And then it gives the action. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the It Stands Written podcast. My name is Braden, and again, got Justin continuing in this series of the second most important decision of your life, answering practical questions for the Christians either looking to date or are in the dating process. So we are at question number 6, and this one is, are we both committed to love biblically?
Yeah, these are questions you have to say yes to, not just because you check them off a list, but you have to have ways of demonstrating that these things are true in your life. And this one about loving biblically, I mean, the foundation of love is obvious, right? The passage that we'll look at today in 1 Corinthians 13, and if you want to start turning to it so you can follow us, that would be ideal. And that passage is not talking primarily about marriage, it's talking about the Christian life. But marriage itself, this passage is probably read at most weddings. Love is patient. Love is kind, describing what love is, you know, in such beautiful, eloquent language, but it's written in the context of what all believers should live by. And again, whether you're married or single, this is still the standard. This is what you function with. So to love biblically, I mean, Ephesians 5 says, husbands, love your wives like Christ loved the church. Okay. Titus 2, an older woman should teach a younger woman to love her husband, to love her children, and to be kind and sensible, pure workers at home, so that the opponent will be put to shame, having nothing bad to say about us. So love is fundamental to marriage. And that feels obvious, but it's also something that you don't fall into. It's not like, I love you like I love chocolate. I love shopping. I love you. You know, that we have these weak words in our culture that describe, you know, love. And men and women are very, very different, you know, from one another. I think that's pretty obvious that men and women are different. But in this, they must be the same. You know, you don't have to be the same. But speaking of those differences, you know, a man has 6 items in his bathroom, right? I don't know how you have in your bathroom, but toothbrush, shaving cream, razor, bar of Dial soap, and a towel from Holiday Inn Express. The average number of items in a typical women's bathroom, did you know this? 437. That's and a man would not be able to identify most of these items. Well, that's so okay. They're different, right? Yeah. So getting married, you better be ready for some differences. Yeah. If Gloria, Suzanne, Deborah, and Michelle go out for lunch, they're going to call each other Gloria, Suzanne, Deborah, and Michelle. But if Mike, Rob, Phil, and Jack go out for lunch, they're going to affectionately refer to one another as Fat Boy, Godzilla, Peanut Head, and Useless. Right? Yeah. That's just sounds about right. Yeah. If a woman makes a list of things she needs and goes to the store and buys them, she will. A man waits until the only items left in his fridge is a 3/4 empty jar of mayonnaise or mustard, usually the mustard, half a lime and a soda. And so then he goes grocery shopping and he buys everything that looks good, right? And by the time he reaches the checkout counter, his cart is packed tighter than the Clampetts car on the Beverly Hillbillies, right? Which of course stops him from going to the 10 or less express line, but it doesn't. Yeah. He still gets there, right? Yep. Now, this is fun. If a woman is out driving and she finds herself lost, what's she going to do? She's going to pull over and ask for
directions.
Yeah, but a guy will not, right? Yep. Men consider this a sign of weakness. Yeah. This is a challenge, right? Yeah. We don't stop and ask for directions. We drive in a circle for hours, all the while saying things like, I know exactly where I'm going. I'm just taking the long way. Women will do laundry every couple of days. A man will wear an article of clothing he owns, including his surgical pants that were hip about 8 years ago, before he'll do his laundry. And when he's finally out of clothes, he'll wear a dirty sweatshirt inside out, rent a U-Haul, and take his mountain of clothes to the laundromat. Single tasking men do one thing well at a time. If I'm drinking a cup of coffee, I'm going to do that well. Yeah. Women, on the other hand, can make breakfast, make the children's lunches, organize the window cleaner, phone the office, dress the children, write a shopping list, iron a shirt, and deflea the cat, all at one time. Yeah. I've literally seen my wife, while she's driving, do her makeup and change her clothes while in the driver's seat. Literally true. So anyway, men and women are different, right? We think different, we act different, we talk different, we like different things, we respond to different emotions. So the question is, how does any man and woman ever come together in the context of marriage? And while we're being a little bit light with that, the one central unifier is love. You know, love is at the heart of all of this. And it's not that you just go, well, two selfless people can love one another so anybody can get married. No, this is an underlying commitment. And what that means is that the marriage foundation is not chemistry, it's commitment. It's covenant. And the baseline of everything when things get wonky is love. So we need to talk about love. Now, when we talk about love, we're not talking about something sloppy, ooey gooey, rich and chewy, some kind of sentimentality that pervades most dating relationships, where that's chemistry. Ooh, you know, I'm Twitter-pated. You ever see Bambi? I showed my kids Bambi the other day. Mother. Your mother cannot be with you anymore. But the scene that they're all like laughing about and joking, Jana and I, was when they got Twitter-pated. And they're like, we refused, you know, because that wise old owl. Have you seen the movie? It's a long time. I don't remember much. Your action item after this podcast is to go home and watch Bambi. Okay. Disney Plus has it for free. Okay. Well, for your monthly subscription. But when Bambi, there's that scene where wise owl's like, oh, this terrible thing's going to happen to you. You're going to get, you know, Twitter-pated. So you're going to be taken over and overrun by feelings. That's what most people think of when they think of love. You're overrun by feelings that you have for this person. And those feelings are so strong, they're followed by attractions that will make you want to be physical with that person. Right. And we assume that's love. Yeah. And so when you engage in some kind of like that activity, the assumption is, because I'm showing that to you and not to somebody else, I love you. And people say I love you way too soon. I didn't say it till Jana until I asked her to marry me, because my commitment was, if love means commitment, which we're going to see it does, then what you're saying is I love you when I'm saying, will you marry me? Yeah. If I'm choosing to love you, it's not something that happens to me. It's a choice that I make. And it doesn't depend, by the way, on anything else other than my choice to love. It's a word here. Now, if you're in 1 Corinthians 13, this is the text that we'll be in. And we've already quoted a few that describe this in marriage. But this one place, perhaps better than anywhere else, summarizes and defines it, uses the word agape. Do you know what agape is? It's contra-conditional. Oh, I love it. I love it. You've been listening. That's good. Yeah. It's a love that loves you in spite of the things that you've done. That's right. Jesus, in spite of our sin against him, willingly went to the cross. Yes, that's right. So it's not unconditional. There's no conditions. Yeah. It's contrary to. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So if that's true, that's the highest and best. So we're not talking about like the love that a grandpa has for a granddaughter or a buddy has for his best friend. We're not talking about romantic eros kind of love. We're talking about an unswerving devotion of commitment that doesn't depend on anything else but my choice to love you, you before me, giving you the highest and best that I have at the greatest cost to myself. That's what you just described by the love of Christ. That's John 3:16, right? It's the love of choice. Yeah. I am putting my best interests on your best interest. I will thrive when you thrive. I will flourish when you flourish. Yeah. I will give myself away, empty utterly all that I have and am, so that the best can be yours. That's love. Yeah. I'm thinking of 1 John 3, verse 18. It says, little children, let us not love in word or with tongue, but in deed and in truth. So love is an action. It's a choice. And then going back to actually John 3:16, when it says, for God so loved the world, many people think it's like, oh, he so loved us. He loves us this much. The Greek word so, it means in this way. So God loved the world in this way. Yeah. And then it gives the action. That's right. It gives the thing that he did. Well, and you're right. It's an action. It's a verb. Yes. Love gives. Love serves. It is a intense, relentless devotion for sure. Whether I receive it or reciprocate it or not. Now, that's hard because if the other person doesn't reciprocate it, that puts a whole new level of strain and burden on that. But this is why you're testing the water for marriage to go, okay, so is this what you're committed to? Are we both committed to this? Two in love with one's not a great marriage. I love me and you love me. So we get along great. And as long as your love for me matches my expectations that are my love for me. If not, then we're done. That's how a lot of relationships end. And then what happens is I go from I love you to I hate you. And what happened? You said, I love you, I love you, I love you. Did you withdraw your commitment? No, you don't feel the same way you felt about that person anymore. So what we need to do is we need to define what love is as it relates to the actions that you will use to measure it. We know it's that unswerving devotion, that contra-conditional commitment. But would you read for us verse 4-8, just the first part of verse 8? But Paul tells us without any question what love is, and we'll zero in on it.
Love is patient, love is kind, and is not jealous. Love does not brag and is not arrogant, does not act unbecomingly, it does not seek its own. It is not provoked, does not take into account a wrong suffered, does not rejoice in unrighteousness, but rejoices with the truth. Bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never fails.
Okay, so we did this when we walked through the fruit of the Spirit, you remember? What you ought to initially be able to do without any sense of wincing or contradiction, insert the person's name who you're dating and be able to say of them, Braden is patient, Braden is kind, Braden is not jealous, Braden does not brag. Braden is not arrogant. Braden does not act unbecomingly. Braden does not seek his own. Braden is not provoked. Braden does not take into account a wrong suffered. Braden does not rejoice in unrighteousness. Braden rejoices with the truth. Braden bears all things. Braden believes all things. Braden hopes all things. Braden endures all things. You should be able to say that. Now, it's easier to use your name than mine in that because like I immediately feel, the standard's so high for love and so challenging, but this is God's standard. Now, again, we're not talking about perfection. We're talking about direction. We're talking about patterns of provenness that give you the assurance that this person is striving for that and will continue to grow. Not you're marrying someone who I assent to that and can verbalize, I agree with that, but don't expect that of me now. One day, maybe I will. That's a disaster. So you have to have the time to be able to measure that. So you're looking for, do these things match or do they contradict? And if you're like, I see a lot of giving up, quitting, despondency, snarky, hopeless, finding joy not in the things of the Lord, but actually kind of finding a lot of fun in sinful things, worldly things, doesn't forgive, is easily agitated, have to walk on eggshells, not respectful, kind of rude, kind of self-focused, possessive of me and my time. If you're seeing those things, I got a 3-letter word for you when it comes to the relationship. Can you guess what it is?
Run.
Yeah, get out, run. So you want to know, does the person that I'm considering marrying match that description, biblically speaking? So let's go through these one by one and say, what are they? So love is patient. What is patience?
Patience, as Ernest likes to point out, is long suffering. It's suffering long.
Sure. Suffering, what are we suffering through?
Well, suffering through the sin going on around us. Like you're being patient with this. I mean, even people that are close to you, being patient with their sin.
Totally. When you get married, you are in such close proximity to that person, you're going to see their sin. And you're going to see things that irritate you. You're going to see things that annoy you. And guess what? Your ability to say, you know what, wait a minute, I'm committed to this person. Those little annoyances don't snag me. I'm not going to withhold my commitment or express my frustration to a person who sins against me and annoys me. I love covers. So the ability to say, I'm going to cover you. I'm going to pray for you. What help do you need for me to support you? I'm going to step toward you. That's patience. If that's not the person that you're dating, run.
Yeah.
Okay. Second one, love is kind. Same thing. And again, this is helpful because we did this in the Fruit of the Spirit series. These are much the same things.
Yeah.
We're just basically saying a loving person is a Spirit-filled Christian. So if you're going to not just marry somebody who is saved, but who is walking in the Spirit, this is the description, right? Mm-hmm. You see this list kind of throughout different places. You see another example of this in Romans 12, 9 to 21. But kindness, this is the generous side. This is I'm going to put up with you, but I'm also going to give to you. What do you think that looks like?
I mean, that is like giving your time and devotion to them. Like I'm going to be intentional about the times that we are together. Like, for example, if like whoever you're dating is trying to talk to you, like tell you about their day, you're not just like on your phone, just like not paying attention. It's like, no, I care about you. It has a level of care. And we touched on goodness too, has that level of care in the fruit of the Spirit. But it's that I'm here. I'm for you. I'm listening.
Yeah. You know, I think it's so fascinating. You don't want to date the person who, when they're with you, is always on their phone, but when you text them, doesn't text you back.
Yeah.
You know, they're on their phone. You're just that low on the priority scale, you know, to them.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that they're not tempted at times where my wife says, "Hey, honey, can I have your phone?" And she puts it on another table because I'm like, I need to be fully present here. Thank you for the reminder.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's a kindness. There's a generosity. There's a giving attitude. There's a sense in which I want to be useful to you, even in the same irritating and annoying circumstances. If you're sinful or annoying, I'm still going to be kind. Mm-hmm. And it's not like just being nice. This is having an attitude of giving to the person who is frustrating you, with your tone of voice, with your temperament, with your approachability, with your receptivity, with your sincerity. All those things are expressions of kindness, and of course, our definition of love. Okay, jealous. Now, jealous is an interesting one. Is jealous wrong? Is it wrong to be jealous?
No.
Well, he just says love is not jealous.
Well, some cases it is, some cases it isn't.
Okay, so what are the cases where it's wrong?
If it's like you see someone has a better job than you, gets more money, and you're like, I want what they have, and you're not content in the job that God has provided for you.
Yeah, good. Okay, so I'm jealous of you. There's something you have that I want, or we'll add envy alongside of it because it's a kissing cousin. If I don't have it, I don't want you to have it.
Right.
So either way, it's about me. That's wrong. Yeah. Now, the Bible says that God is a jealous God.
Yeah.
So how is his jealousy different?
Well, that jealousy is a jealousy for you.
Yeah.
He doesn't, as you're his child, he doesn't want you to be devoted to sinful, unrighteous things. He wants you for himself.
That's right. So there's a difference between being jealous of somebody and being jealous for somebody. Yeah. If I have a zeal for my wife that I want to protect her and what we share, that's good. If I see her thriving and I want to hinder that, that's not. Yeah. If I want to have that instead of her, that's not. If I'm constantly climbing in front of her to get me first and her get the leftovers, that's not love. And that's a real thing. And you ought to use this to evaluate where are we in that, you know, and that's important because in 1 Corinthians 12 through 14, where 1 Corinthians 13, which we're studying, is sandwiched, he's talking about all the ways that the Corinthians were elbowing each other out and pushing each other out of the way and making room for only themselves and being rude and self-assertive. And he's like, there's a better way. It's called love. Yeah. And if you have this, you won't be fighting each other. You'll be protecting each other. So if I'm jealous for you, I don't care for your welfare. And this is what's really important because it's when you're emotionally bound to a person, you tend to overlook or make excuses for people. So even as you're listening to this, you have to be aware that you got to be honest. And if you don't feel that you're objective and honest with yourself and your appraisal of this, ask the people around you who love you. What do they say? What's their evaluation? And ask them to speak openly and freely, you know, with you. But a jealous person has a sin in the heart that says, I want what I want, and I'll do what it takes to get what I want, even if I have to take it from you. If you have a marriage that's built on that, well, this is how I wanted to spend my time. Well, this is where I wanted to go. Well, this is what movie I wanted to see. Well, that's what I wanted to have for dinner. I mean, it's petty, right? But this is what I wanted. 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 Yeah. That's jealousy at work. Yeah. And it's not like, well, I don't want you to have that only. It's just, I have thought only of my well-being and my desire. Then why'd you get married? Yeah. Stay single and selfish. Yeah. But don't get married. Yeah. Because you're selfish. But it also has, you can pick it up when you see a lot of complaining. when you see a person who's constantly complaining in their marriage, and it's not necessarily just about their spouse, but you have to watch that too. If you find yourself complaining to other people about your spouse or the person you're dating, major warning signs, something's wrong in your heart or something's really broken in your relationship.
Yeah.
So complaining is a big one. And the jealous person will actually even be willing for the other person to suffer for the sake of their benefit, which is horrific.
Yeah.
Okay, so love doesn't brag. What is it to brag?
So brag is, just thinking about it now, it's kind of the opposite of jealousy. Jealousy is, I want it, I want it, I want it. Bragging is, I got it, I got it, I got it.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
in fact,
it's look at the things that I have. Look at me. It's wanting other people to exalt you for the things that you have.
That's right. That's so good. Yeah, it's an attitude, and the Greek word here describes someone who achieves success, but they'll tear other people down. That's what jealousy does. Bragging builds themselves up.
Yeah.
So love does neither. And of course, the Corinthians were exalting themselves and stepping on each other to get higher. But it can be like for recognition, for rights. It could be a weird, and you have to watch this as couples, a weird sense of competitiveness. If you're dating with somebody that always has to win and beat you at whatever, we're not talking about like board games, but we're talking about someone who has this edge of competition. Where as long as they win, or as long as they have the last word, or as long as they are feel like they've been able to say what they wanted to say or get their 2 cents in, it's really, really a big flag.
Yeah,
because it's not love; it's bragging. If you have to belittle somebody, if you find this in dating, you know what they're going to do married? They're going to find more to belittle.
Yeah,
and when you imagine being married to somebody who sees all your flaws and covers them and loves you in spite of them, versus someone who sees all your flaws and rubs your nose in them and points them out and makes sure you don't forget them. Yeah. That's a person who's elevating themselves. Yeah. Like, I got a 3-letter word for you if you are dating somebody like that. What is it?
Run.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah. Next one. And this goes with it too. Love is not arrogant. What's arrogant?
Arrogant, yeah, similar to bragging. It's kind of bragging in a sense of putting other people down. I guess, like saying like, oh, you're not you're not good enough to get this kind of attitude.
Yeah, it's a low view of God and a low view of others. High view of self. Yeah. So you'll never rise above your view of God. So what actually allows somebody to treat somebody so poorly is God doesn't matter. And if God doesn't matter, you don't matter. My spouse doesn't matter. I don't need you. I can do this on my own. I don't need your help. I don't need your instruction. Highly critical people, like we were saying with the bragging as well and the jealous piece, these kind of all come together. You can see why Paul's stacking them one on top of the other. An arrogant person. If you are dating someone who is an arrogant person, it's back to the 2 in love with 1 scenario. And as long as you please me, then I'll make the relationship something that's enjoyable for you too. But you have to please me always and first. Okay, acting unbecomingly. What do you think that is?
I'm trying to remember. What's the other word that is used in different translations?
Look it up and see.
All right.
Acting I think it's love is not rude. Love is not rude. Well, the Greek word here means indecent, unseemly, and inappropriate. So what are some examples of that?
I guess rude kind of goes along with like the pointing out their flaws, but also like still putting them down, like kind of bashing them and just destroying their character. Like they're made in the image of God, but kind of destroying that image, if you will.
Yeah. Well, and a rudeness has the synonyms to that are crudeness. That there's a vulgarity to it. There's a crassness to it. And again, the Greek word here meaning indecent. Like a person who loves you isn't going to exploit you or expose you to the things that are going to leave you vulnerable or used up. You ever feel like you've been used by somebody? That's underneath this. Yeah, somebody who's taken advantage of you for their own purposes. You see this a lot in guys with girls exploiting their purity. That they'll take the dating relationship in order to push the dating relationships to something that causes the girl to compromise morally, maybe not commit the ultimate, expression of fornication and sex before marriage.
Yeah.
But how do we get as close to the line as we can? How do I take you and I'll express pleasure in you that is selfishly gratifying to me? And then when you want something from me, you'll get my attention, you'll get my focus when you give me that. And when I'm done with that, no. So what happens is the girl is in a constant position where she feels like in order to satisfy him and to keep the relationship alive, she has to lead with that. So how do I get to pull him away from video games? How am I going to pull him away from his friends? How am I going to pull him away from, and it goes both ways, guys with girls and girls with guys.
Yeah.
But if there's this sense in which you are constantly inappropriate, your words, your actions are crass, the jokes that you laugh at and tell, the stuff that you expose yourself to and me on social media, the movies that you say, oh, it's going to be okay that we watch, the language that we tolerate with one another that kind of bumps the line of sounding just like the world, the things that we approve. All of that stuff. If you're dating someone who feels inclined to find the thrill of exposing you to that and enjoys that and wants you to enjoy it, and you never would have chosen that for yourself, you're on a path of compromise, and you're not dating a godly person.
No,
that's not a good thing. So I think I'd watch for someone who's respectful or disrespectful. If you have a person who really is in awe of you, I told a guy who wanted to date my daughter recently, I said, if you're not in awe of my daughter, now it's not because I'm the dad and I'm in awe of her, I am, but there's a certain treasuring that there should be. Like, I want to see that you are thrilled that you have the privilege, and so you take such good care of her. Yeah. If not, I'll bury you alive in a box and they'll never find your body. But there's a kind of dignified appropriateness that you should see in a relationship where here's maybe a test. Can your relationship be the standard of what other relationships should strive to be of those who look to you, and maybe those who don't even know Christ look to you in that? So acting unbecomingly just does nothing but hinder that.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the next one?
It does not insist on its own way.
Yeah, so seeking your own here is, that's dangerous, right?
Yeah.
Now, we've said a lot about selfishness up till this point, and love is obviously others oriented. But do you remember what Jesus said when he said, the reason he came to earth, the Son of Man has come not to
serve, but to be, no, not to be served, but to serve.
Heresy. Not to be served, but to serve and give his life as a ransom for many. He's going to pour out himself, pay the price of his life to serve. That's what it is to be a Christian. The moment you become a Christian, you're a servant. Yeah. That's what you are. It's other oriented. But if I'm seeking my own, I'm not going to serve. When Paul told the Philippians, do nothing from selfishness or empty conceit, but with humility of mind, let each of you regard one another as more important than yourself. That's what he means here. He goes on to say, do not look out for your own personal interests. Now, how cool is this, Braden? If you have two people who are dating one another, neither of them are selfish. Both of them are radically committed to emptying themselves to serve the other. You know what happens? Both of them are satisfied. Yeah. I don't get satisfied in the relationship by serving myself and then compelling you to serve me. And then if I like that, I'll return, the same. It's, I'm going to give myself away for you. You give yourself away for me. And together, as we do that, neither of us is selfish. Both of us are satisfied. God is pleased. I've never had a counseling situation. I joked about this church on Sunday. I've never had a counseling situation where somebody comes to me and says, I'm through. I'm through. All they do is keep serving me. All they do is this guy loves me. He cares for me. He meets my needs. He anticipates my needs. He's always just doing at the greatest cost to himself, what I need. I'm sick of it. I'm through. Yeah. Nobody ever said that. Yeah. Love does not seek its own. What else you got?
Yeah, it's a total selflessness. It's caring about others' well-beings. It's putting your desires and wants beside. And sometimes you can see this in a marriage, like the husband, it's like he has a desire to watch a football game, but let's say that like his wife needs help doing something else, like cleaning the house or whatever. It's setting that aside, saying her and my relationship with my wife is way more important than this football game that's so temporal. Yeah, that I'm going to put that aside it's a form of denying yourself too, right? We deny ourselves to follow Christ. We also need to deny ourselves to love others. And it's going to help your wife in caring about what she has going on.
You know what I did one time?
What?
I'm ashamed to confess this, but I was washing dishes. I hate washing dishes. I'm married almost 30 years. I still hate washing dishes. Early on in my marriage, I'm ashamed of this, and I'm not commending this to you husbands, but just to demonstrate how tempting that was for me at one point. I just broke a dish. There was a dish I didn't want to wash. I didn't feel like we had so many of them. This dish had scratches. I broke it. So I just let it go. Crashed on the floor. Jana comes in. Oh, honey, are you okay? I'm saying this to my shame, okay? Because I see that judgment in your eyes. I dropped it. Honey, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. She goes, honey, I tell you what, let me take over washing the dishes. She said, why don't you go sit down and watch college football?
Oh my gosh.
So when you use that analogy, I'm like, I can't just let that go. I have to confess that I did that. And I will let you know that I still do the dishes. I still help out with that very much. So anyway, don't do what I did.
Did you replace the dish?
No way. We had so many of them. I threw away another one the other night. I'm like, we don't ever use this. Yeah. And she doesn't know until she listens to this podcast. She'll have to guess which one it was. What's the point of washing it? We have so many of those. And this is like a chipped one, so why waste the time? Yeah. So anyway, moving along to the next text. Love is not provoked, right?
Yeah.
Let's finish these because these are kind of obvious and they so sync together, but they are the standard by which you are to measure whether or not someone really does have the provenness that gives you confidence that they are, in fact, the kind of person you should marry and that you are this and they would recognize this in you. Love is not provoked. The word here, provoked, means to make sharp or to sharpen. The idea here, sometimes it's translated to irritate or to whip up or to arouse. Or can be translated negatively, to exasperate. I think what that is you don't have a button that people can push that ignites your nuclear option. You're not aggravated or bothered to the point where you will react sinfully. That there are things in your life where you would say, you know what, I would rather be wronged and absorb the offense rather than voice my annoyance and irritation, let you know how frustrated I am and make it your problem that you fix it because what you've done has so aroused my sinfulness that I will be unpleasant to you for the rest of however long it has to last so that I can manipulate this relationship or create toxicity to get you to do my way. I mean, what? There's no place for that in a marriage. Yeah. Now, it happens in marriage. But it should be something that the moment you see it coming, you kill the motor, or the second you do it, you stop and humble yourself and ask for forgiveness. It's not ever something that you would be married to someone who repeatedly wounds you because they don't have their expectations met. This is where domestic violence, becomes an issue. Don't do that. If you provoke me, you'll get this out of me. And the justification of what people will do and then blame other people as if it was their fault. No. By contrast, he goes on to say, love doesn't take into account a wrong suffered. So in marriage, I get wronged and I wrong my wife, but for me to take into account a wrong suffered, what do you think that means?
I think that means to point it out. If it happens again, to say like, oh, you always do this, or like, there you go again.
Yep.
It's to not take into account a wrong suffered. That's forgiveness.
Yeah.
You're forgiving them. You're not holding it against them. Yeah. And you love them regardless.
That's exactly right, Braden. You're exactly right. No room for bitterness.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm not keeping a list.
Yep.
I'm not going to rub your nose in all the stuff you've done in the past. What sin? I don't know what you're talking about. Each moment's a new moment where we work in grace with one another. And if you have that as a relationship, you got something really golden and rare. Yeah. Something really pleasing to God. If you don't have that, run. Yeah. Let's land the plane here. Does not rejoice in unrighteousness, right? Hates sin, but rejoices with the truth. Whatever gives God glory, gives you the grace to bear all things. So there you are, persevering, bearing one another's burdens, just like Jesus who bore our burdens, it says in Isaiah 53. Believing all things. I'm going to always give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm not going to assume the worst about you, your intent, your motives, your tone. Hopes all things. I'm not hoping you, my hope is in the Lord. So I'm going to stay on course with you, even in moments where it feels hopeless. And I'm going to endure all things. Whatever we have to go through together, I will. I'm all in. Now, if you have that, my goodness, that's a recipe for a life you're going to love.
Yeah.
And a marriage you're going to enjoy, and one that's pleasing to the Lord. If you don't have that, run. So what would it look like? I mean, let's just recap here. What would it look like? Think about your prospective partner now. If you had the kind of relationship where you bore with one another, even in the irritating situations, with a soothing and generous attitude, where there were only helpful and useful attitudes of servanthood and humility, where the care and the thought of the other person was your highest priority, where there was joy in the success of the other and mutual encouragement, where words were rightly spoken in timely ways and offenses were overlooked and true joy was found in the fervent commitment to apply the word of God in the home, where freedom you had to grow in a home that was nurturing, and that was extended to those who were willing to take you as you are and believe God to do great things that only He can do, such that no matter what came, there was an unbreakable, indestructible devotion and commitment to do what is very best for you until the very end. Like, if you have that, like, wife that girl. I mean, that's we're only on question 6, but do you see how that's so foundational to everything else?
Yeah.
What an amazing thing that love is. And we have to acknowledge we love. 1 John 4:19 says, and if you're looking for a verse to inscribe on your wedding rings, I recommend that one. We love because He first loved us.
Yeah.
The only way we can do this is because the verse earlier you quoted at the beginning, God so loved the world that He gave. So may it be that He is on display in our love and in our lives.
Yeah. Yeah. I was talking to a friend about this last night, actually. Like, I was thinking of it can apply to both fatherhood and being a husband, of like, as a husband, thinking like, oh man, someone who's married just must have just such a greater understanding of how Christ loves His bride, loves His church, and just it's got to have such a greater understanding of the gospel. And it was thinking about that for a little bit, and the Lord revealed to me that I've got it backwards. That should not be my focus. Rather, it should be right now in the singleness, preparing, studying how Christ has loved the church, really diving into that. And then once I've really understood that, then when I am married, I can love her that way.
That's good.
So it's just switching that focus and focused on loving Christ right now.
Rock solid.
Yeah.
Amen.
Well, there you go, listeners. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the It Stands Written podcast. And Lord willing, we will see you on the next one.